After a super stressful arrival in Chengdu, I was extremely excited to share my first impressions of China with all of my biggest fans on YouTube. Seeing as how China is blocked off from the world, and how it is so difficult for us Westerners to get accurate information about life in China online, I believed that I had some very keen and unique insights that nobody on YouTube had ever shared before.
Amazing. It's like a hot pocket. Oh, construction worker.
Construction workers.
After I clicked upload and sent my video out into the world, I immediately began to receive a lot of backlash in the comment section from people who claim to be so-called experts on all things China. To be honest, the feedback felt bad, and it almost made me want to cut my 144-hour visa-free transit a little bit short. I had initially assumed that my first day in China was a quite thorough investigation into the real China that the Western media did not want you to see. However, despite what you may have seen from other vloggers, it turns out that 24 hours just is not enough time to finish such an undertaking. I began to think that maybe 144 hours even would not be enough to expose the truth about China, and that any effort I made would probably end up with more negative comments on my channel, which I just do not want. I began to think maybe it would be for the best if I just leave China immediately, like some of the nasty commenters demanded that I do. But no, I decided that I couldn't let the haters get to me. I would press on. I would use all 144 hours at my disposal to truly dig deep into my journey of discovery about the real China. I decided that I would need to think and act like a local. So the first thing that I did on day 2 was to apply for a driver's license in order to rent a car. Actually, that was the second thing. First, I found this poor stray dog tied up outside abandoned, right outside my hotel. So I adopted her while no one was looking. Second thing was the driver's license. This process was simple and fast, and I even came out of it with a proper Chinese name. So for the next few days, I will no longer be known as Benjamin Daniels, but instead, I want to be known as my Chinese name, Warm Handsome Horse. Admittedly, it's kind of a weird name, but I trust the young lady at the DMV knows what she's doing when she is naming white people. In order to get a deeper understanding of the real China, I decided that I would rent a top-of-the-line Chinese electric car.
All right, we just rented this car. You ready to go? It even has the nice backup sound. Can you guys hear that? I hope. It's doing the reverse sound. Okay, cool. Let's go. There's an Ai behind me. Oh, she stopped. Ai. Ai. She's standing right behind the little tiny car. I suppose luckily for us, if we did run into her, it probably wouldn't even knock her over. But, oh my God, what is she doing? Come on, lady. The car's beeping at you. This lady is just chilling. Oh, now she's moving. Hello, thank you.
Now I can't say enough about the quality of this vehicle. From the manual side mirror controls to the digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel, these are the kinds of features that Tesla could only dream of implementing. It shocked me to learn that the best American electric vehicles have to offer cannot even hold a candle to what China is turning out. After I got situated in this luxurious EV, I plugged my destination into a Chinese app called Baidu Map, as recommended by some of the commenters. My friend recommended that I visit Beijing in order to get a taste of the real China. He said that Beihai Park is a great place to talk to locals and to get an authentic feel for this place. So I hit the road, off to Beijing, on a thrilling electrified road trip. After what felt like an eternity on the road, I arrived at my first destination, a little city called Liyue. Liyue was a fascinating place. In fact, it was here that I discovered that Chinese porta potties actually do not have a basin for collecting human waste. Instead, you are expected to just sit on this stool and relieve yourself into the empty room. It's odd to be sure, but it somehow works for them. Liyue had a charming traditional night market full of local specialties like fried chicken, Cantonese waffles, and Taiwanese pancakes. I ate as much Liyue food as I could before turning in for the night. I had a big day ahead, hoping to get to Beijing by the following afternoon. I woke up early and looked in the mirror. After a long 2 days in China, I figured it would be good to clean myself up a little bit. My hair was getting a little out of control, and I wanted to be handsome for my arrival in the nation's capital. So I went to get a haircut at one of the many barbershops here. Oddly enough, no matter how hard I tried, I could not convince them to do more than just to wash my hair. I guess they just aren't accustomed to seeing such handsome foreign men in this rustic Chinese town, and they didn't want to help me look any better than I already did. So after getting my hair washed 3 times, but never once cut, I decided to get back on the road. After a few more hours, I arrived at this beautiful village with a charming Chinatown type of street. But instead of Chinatown, it was Vietnam Town. I had no idea such a thing even existed, and it sure was shocking to me.
So in my last video, a lot of people were trying to tell me that these guys in these helmets and these bright blue jackets and stuff, that they were not construction workers, they were delivery drivers. Well, I'm here to tell you, you were totally wrong. Because what is this guy doing? Construction. I knew I was right and you guys were wrong. I feel totally vindicated right now.
Another shock was seeing how the locals celebrate Easter. Easter eggs aplenty. I sat down to order one to learn how the Chinese celebrate the holiest of holidays.
All right, so it's I don't know, some sort of fertilized duck egg with feathers and beaks and stuff. So we're gonna try it. Oh, I can see why this is considered a delicacy. Oh God, it's getting worse. The animal's actually in there. Like it is, I think, I don't know, man. I kind of want to retch right now. But I gotta try to put on a brave face because the vendor is sitting right next to me. I think I've had about enough. So I hope you guys can see this clearly. We have the duck's head and his eyeballs developing in his beak. Can you see that? I think I want to try it. Do we have anything to drink just in case? All right. Everybody's watching. I got a crowd. All right. Whew, okay. Oh, fantastic. You could... a little bit delicious. A little bit delicious. I don't want a Coca-Cola or something. Shay.
It turns out, to celebrate the resurrection of Christ, they serve these partially resurrected birds straight from the egg. It's weird, but I can't knock another culture for having different traditions. And besides, when you really think about it, it makes a lot more sense to have a partially reanimated duck than it does to eat a chocolate egg. So I explored Vietnam Town a little bit more before swapping cars for something a little sportier and heading towards Beijing. I was over the moon as Beijing came into my sights. The famous capital city. Great world leaders such as Richard Nixon had left an indelible mark on the history of this place. I followed my GPS directly into Beihai Park, but I found that it wasn't at all what I expected.
All right, so I just got local breakfast. See, as you can see, they're taking pictures of the flowers because in China, green spaces, flowers, all very, very rare. You almost never see flowers or anything green in China, only typically gray sky, dirt. It's like a dust bowl here. So that's why those girls were taking pictures of the flowers.
I figured it would be full of traditional Chinese architecture, temples, pagodas, gardens, and bridges. But instead I was greeted with row after row of colonial-style Western buildings. This was not the real China that I wanted to expose on YouTube at all. I was hoping to share the real truth about what China is actually like. And all I could find was these lane houses. I had this preconceived notion of China, and this was not at all what I expected to see. Was Western media really lying to me this whole time? I thought to myself, maybe if I just go to Tiananmen Square, I'll see the real truth about China. So I popped that into Baidu Maps, only to discover that it was a 25-hour drive away from my location in Beihai Park. Now I knew Beijing was a big city, but I could never imagine it was this big. I sat and contemplated my next move. I was down to only 72 hours left in China. Perhaps I should order some food delivery.
Come on, guys. You're gonna tell me this guy delivers food to people? It's ridiculous.